know what got into me, but I was just like, okay, this dating scene is ridiculous out here.
Now you were in LA already?
Yeah.
Okay.
And I was like, there's so many fuckboys. So I went on live, and I never go on live Instagram. Like, I never. And I just felt the need to go on live, and I just post the question. I was like, why are there so many fuckboys? Like, can someone talk to me about this? Like, can the guys tell me what this is about, what the psychology is behind this? Like, why is someone a fuckboy? How do they get to this place? And so the conversation started flowing on live, and I guess he was watching from afar, and he was a follower, a stranger to me. I didn't even know who he was. And he was watching, and I guess his phone died. But he was so intrigued by the question, and he wanted to answer it. So he was like, okay, I really loved like the questions that you were asking, and so I thought they deserved an answer. So he took it upon himself, and he wrote this very thorough email answering all my questions, analyzing why a guy might be a fuckboy. And obviously, when I saw my email, like that email came up, I was like,
"Who's this psycho?"
Well, I was like, "Nah, who's the psycho?" Because I'm actually like that type of stuff warms my heart.
I actually think it's one of the smoothest moves I've ever heard of.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, but I was like, "Oh my god, he actually like took time out of his life." But I wasn't like, "Ooh, I'm ready for you to."
Yeah, I was joking anyway. I think it's a good move, especially if it's well thought out. And,
yeah,
I could see you doing something like that.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Yeah.
I mean,
I am interested in what he said though. What was the gist of what he said?
If I can remember correctly, he was saying it has a lot to do with like lack of father influence, and also influenced by your peers. Maybe like not being so tied into like feminine energy as well. And then, as we all know, like the abundance of options.
Yeah,
I think that's the main.
Yeah, I think everything.
I would.
Yeah, everything he's saying, I think is true. And then the top X% of guys probably have their pick, right? Mm-hmm. So like they don't want to commit to anything. These fuckboys out there, I don't know who they are, but
these fuckboys.
But yeah,
I could talk about fuckboys all day.
But yeah, I mean, especially in LA and you being like a model and attractive, like you probably have a lot of attractive or high quality men, at least on paper or on Instagram, I should say, like that are interested in you. So like they have a bevy of options and they're not going to commit, so they get the label fuckboy because that's just easy for them.
You know what their cop out is?
What's that?
I swear to God, I'm just not emotionally available. Like my dad didn't tell me that he loved me enough or something like that. I swear to God, so many times I've sat across the table and I'm like.
So they were aware enough to say that and think they know that, but not aware enough to change or not. They won't change it.
I think a guy has to like consciously, like when I met Hannah, of course you see beautiful people, right? Men and women all over, and you're just like attracted to them, right? But you have to like actually tell yourself in your brain to be like, no, the person you're with is actually worth not entertaining any of these things and staying focused on you're with this person because you love them. And of course, if a beautiful girl walks by, you're maybe going to glance and be like, oh, it's a beautiful woman, right? Mm-hmm. But acting on it is totally different because you don't know what's behind the curtain, right? And I think that a lot of men think that it's the best thing behind the curtain, right? And then they go, they fuck them or whatever, like not to be so vulgar, but then they find out like, it's not as great as I thought it was going to be. And they just run away and say like, I'm not emotionally available. And I think once you meet someone of very high quality who you have a really good connection with, turning that off in your brain and saying like, okay, I could always be attracted to people, but acting on it and being true to this one person is more important than anything else. And I think
it's more dangerous too, because you have to open up. You have to be more vulnerable.
So I said this last week on a different podcast that men are intimidated when they meet the person who does that to them. And that's why sometimes we like run away or we seem uninterested because we don't know what to do, right? And if we get past that wave, then, obviously, hopefully it's something amazing. But yeah, men get super intimidated.